I really hate Tuesdays. I lost my father 15 years ago on a Tuesday. I was 15 years old, my older brother was 19, and my baby sister was only 9. There was so much unknown for my family. We were all very devastated. Then I looked around, and I realized that even though the 2003 war had ended a year earlier, everyone was mourning a father, a brother, or a loved one. And what's really shocking to me right now, that was 15 years ago. But Iraqis are still fighting for their country to be their home again. Only last week, we lost over 150 people protesting corruption. Iraq does not need a revolution. Iraq needs a revelation. I left Iraq in 2007. That year, 27,000 Iraqis died because of violence. And just to put that in perspective, that's like 270,000 Americans. Imagine losing that many people because those who have to find answers just can't. Well, that actually happens. In 2007, that same year, 277,000 Americans died because of sepsis. Sepsis is the leading cause of death in US hospitals. It kills more people than prostate cancer, breast cancer, and AIDS combined. What makes it so deadly is that you have to give the patients the correct antibiotics right away. In fact, for every 1 hour without proper antibiotics, that is 7% less chance of survival. But the only way to tell a correct antibiotic is by identifying what organism is actually causing the infection. And that is currently done with a blood culture. Blood cultures take up to 10 days to develop. That is time patients don't have. And that is why we developed ASTEC. It is short for Antibiotic Susceptibility Technology. What ASTEC does is it can tell you if there is an infection in the blood, and then it tells you what the best antibiotic is to fight off this infection. And all of that is done in less than 1 hour. So we use 2 milliliters of blood. That's very little blood from a patient. And the idea is we don't need to know what's causing the infection. We just have to know what can fight off this infection, or if there's bacteria in the first place. And that is done through the metabolic activity of these organisms. But before we can do that, we have to find the bacteria in the blood. That is usually 10 colonies of bacteria in a sea of billions of red blood cells. And that is a very, very challenging task. If you look at the literature, there's so much about it, and we had so many ideas, but we failed, and failed again. What I didn't realize, though, every time I failed, blood was making a little bit more sense to me. And that is when something wonderful happened. My father-in-law told me if I get my boating safety license, he would let me use his jet ski. So of course, I go and get that license, and my wife and I took his jet ski out. And for jet skis to be fun, you have to go fast, and that is usually done in the bay. But you have to go real slow in these small channels to get to the bay. So we get attacked by greenhead bugs. They really suck. And that just confirmed what I had already known. I belong indoor. So I went back to the lab, and I was still researching my problem, which is how do I find and isolate the bacteria from the blood? And a mosquito landed on my arm. I watched that mosquito as it was sucking out my blood. And the way mosquitoes work is that they suck out the blood, digest the red blood cells, and then they get rid of the plasma. And in a way, that is exactly what I've been trying to do. So I researched mosquitoes, and one of the theories that I really liked because it was the simplest is there's sedimentation happening, so all the red blood cells are going to go to the bottom. The plasma stays at the top, and if there's any bacteria, it would just stay with the plasma. And then the mosquito is going to squeeze out that plasma out of its body. So I replicated that on a chip, and that was the solution to my research problem. Apparently, the solution has been biting me, and it took 11 bites for me to figure it out. I have been at UMBC for 6 years, and I worked with so many people to build this medical device. The FDA says it takes a village to build a medical device. But I'm from Iraq. And if there's one thing you have to know about Iraqis, we love our tribes. My tribe is Al-Adhami, and I'm so proud of it. So tribes live in the same area. We have the same goals, and we share the same aspirations. And today, I would like to show off my other tribe. That is the Aztec tribe. So I do my research at the Center for Advanced Sensor Technology, and I'm being advised by Dr. Rao and Dr. Kostov. But I'm a mechanical engineer, and I am being advised by Dr. Zupan and Dr. Eggleton from the McKee department. And I had no idea, I had no clue how bacteria worked, so I had to work with an infectious disease expert, that is Dr. Alan Cross, the medical school downtown. And for a project of this potential, I had to get mentored of how to understand the problem better, and that was the Alex Brown Center for Advanced Entrepreneurship and Dr. Vivian Armour. So it really takes a tribe to build a medical device. But regardless of what your tribe is, we all work together so that humankind can have a better, more peaceful, and healthier life. Now, I can't really tell you how my mom pulled it off, but my brother is a very successful person, and that 9-year-old kid, my baby sister, is now a doctor. Her first week at work was during the protest last week, and I haven't talked with her, I don't know what she went through, but I'm sure it was fun. And I'm graduating this semester as Dr. Al-Adhami, my first. Thank you. As Dr. Al-Adhami, my first order of business is to make sure Aztec can reach as many people as possible. Thank you all, and I hope I earned the privilege of your time.